Hi there, welcome to Terrorland Soap Opera. I'm going to do a reading for Taurus energy. And like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row is going to be what people who harness high vibe Taurus energy are doing. High vibe Taurus is people who put in work and effort to truly be someone who should be looked up to and admired. They walk the talk. They don't operate from pride and ego and being petty and jealous and envious. It's not about the money that you have or the what you wear, what you drive, or how much money you have. There are people who are real spiritual leaders in the world, and even though they might have a lot of power or influence or status or image or good looking, that isn't what drives their life and the decisions they make. They actually invest in putting work and effort to have true abundance in their life, loving, loyal, committed relationships, them being someone who acts with character and integrity. And other people who harness more shadowy or more worldly Taurus energy could be caught up in the facade of the world, and they think life is all about having the money and the image and the status and whatever so that people look up and admire you. It's kind of how they fill their ego and feel a sense of having worth and value and importance in the world. We're worth so much more than that, but some people haven't realized that, and they make decisions in their life more out of pride or ego or lust or greed, and they try to present themselves as being an upstanding citizen in the world so people will get in relationship with them, but it isn't really love that drives our decisions. In the top row, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, the King of Pentacles, the Moon, the Two of Cups, the Six of Wands, and the Star card. And the reason it came out is because of the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups in shadow can be people who use their emotions manipulatively in relationship to get what they want. They're not being truthful and honest and authentic, trying to present themselves as being loving family people, as if they harness high vibe Cancer energy, but they don't. It's just trying to emotionally manipulate people to stay in a relationship with them because it's good for their image or their status or their sense of stability and security, or they'll look like a star in the world, and they think other people, wanting to be in a relationship with people more because of their ego and their image and status and stuff like that, but they're not authentically loving people. They're more concerned about the image and the status and the money. And so some people that have been in relationships with people like that, who are or are in relationships with people like that, with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, they realized they needed to get out of that relationship and quit moving forward with those type of people. Because the reason for the people in shadowy energy is the Four of Pentacles. They could harness some shadowy Capricorn energy. They're more about money and materialism and status and image. They're kind of selfish and greedy, maybe prideful, egotistical, and think, everybody justifies their actions. The people who are emotionally manipulative in the world, they could think that's what everybody does. Doesn't everybody use their emotions manipulatively and at workplaces and everything, in order to get the status and the image and the money and the power and whatever? No, not everyone does, but if that's how you view the world, they would probably tend to think that other people view life that way and live their life that way. The shadowy people are more about, they could live in fantasy land, because the Seven of Cups can be that. Isn't it about that we invest in people and we also invest emotionally in viewing life as being all about looking like a shining star, to look successful or whatever, so people look up to us like we're really successful? Some people have all bought into the illusion of the world that it's all about investing and looking like a shining star. That's the most important thing. I need people to look up to me and admire me and view me as a very successful person. But they're in shadowy energy. They're not being just and fair and loyal and committed and loving and truthful and honest. They live like in fantasy land, and then they get in relationships and they create the illusion that they're willing to bring a dream into a relationship based on love, but it's more about investing maybe in other people who look very successful in the world, who shine very bright in the world because they want to look like that too. The driving factor for the decisions they make in their life isn't love, and not getting in relationships because of love. I want the image. I want the status. I want to look like I'm really successful. Can I get in a relationship with you? Because I think if I'm with you, it'll make me look like I'm that way. But they really haven't done the work within themselves to invest in seeing life from a higher perspective. They maybe don't have hope and faith and belief in themselves or in love or in others. They could be people who live more from their mind than their heart. And it's all about being mentally strategic and trying to create illusion about who they are in the world. Yes, they want the faith card in this deck is the Hierophant card, which is Taurus energy. Their dream that they're trying to manifest is to look like they have this certain status in life, that they're surrounded by luxury in life, that they are someone that other people should look up to and admire. But they're not taking action in their life from a place of love. And they want to get in relationships with other people to have that status and that image, but they're not getting into those relationships because of love. They're pretty convinced that if they have that status and that image and that power or that money or whatever, that they'll be happy. But that's like, indulging in things of the world, thinking those things of the world will make me happy. But I don't ever have to learn how to love myself. I don't have to deal with my past pain, my heartbreak, my fears, my insecurities. And then also thinking, really, you think you can just manipulate people? And so long as you have the status and the image, even though you know you're being manipulative, you think you're going to be happy? I don't know. Maybe they're a psychopath or a sociopath and they have no conscience. Yeah. In the Chariot card, they want to look like they're really victorious and successful. They do not want to, in the Death card, they don't want to offer love to deal with their own inner conflict they have about the fact that they could be selfish and greedy and materialistic and fearful and insecure and don't want to step out of their comfort zone and don't want to grow and mature themselves. Some people who are in shadowy energy, if they had been in a relationship with loving people, let's look at the loving people. The loving people weren't willing to move forward with people like this anymore in their life. And in the King of Pentacles, they learned the lesson that they were meant to learn from being in a relationship with people who are kind of selfish and greedy and prideful and egotistical and don't ever grow and mature themselves, don't really open up, don't really walk the talk. And they learned the lesson they were meant to learn from that life experience. And in the Moon card, they listened to their intuition and they aligned with loving and believing in themselves. And they got out of their inner conflict and ego that they could have been in having dealt with someone like this. Because sometimes people who are shadowy, they create the illusion that they're willing to bring a dream into reality, but then they don't really want the dream to come into reality based on love. They're hoping the people that they get in a relationship with kind of give up on their dreams of being in an authentic, loving relationship, and that they'll stay in the relationship because of the ego and the image and the status and the money. So they're being manipulative in a relationship with loving people. And they try to manipulate the loving people in their life from moving forward in their life They try to stop them from loving and believing in themselves. Because if they get in relationships with people who love and believe in themselves, the loving people are going to want them to get out of their fear, their insecurity, their controlling ways of being, and to detach from their old ways of being and move forward in love and deal with their own inner conflict. And they're like, I don't want to do that. I want to be in a relationship with you because, it's great to be in a relationship with people who are loving and nurturing and supportive and encouraging. But I have a lot of inner conflict I would have to deal with, or I'd have to quit being in my ego. I'd have to quit thinking that it's just and fair for it to be more about me than us and the relationship. Some people like being manipulative and bossy and controlling in relationships. Some people are prideful and egotistical and self-centered. And why are they like that? I guess it must be because it makes them feel safe. It doesn't put them at risk of being hurt emotionally, because it is kind of being more manipulative in a relationship to keep themselves from being hurt emotionally. It's like people who say to people, oh no, I'm stable and grounded. I've learned lessons from my past life experiences. I listen to my intuition. I'm aligned with love. I'm not prideful. I'm not egotistical. I'm not selfish. I'm not greedy. I'm not self-centered. I'm not materialistic. Oh no, you're loving and nurturing and supportive and hopeful and believing. Yeah, I want to bring that dream into reality with you. But it's just an illusion. They could have gotten in a relationship with people because they have a lot of fears and insecurities. And if you're a loving, encouraging, supportive person, yeah, it's great to be in a relationship with you. And they're hoping that when they get in the relationship with you, and it maybe makes them look like they've invested in a star, someone who shines bright because you're very loving and giving and warm and stable and grounded and all those good things, it makes them look successful. But they really don't want to bring a relationship in to reality based on love. They could get hurt doing that. And they don't really want to let their more emotionally vulnerable nature out to play in the world. They hold back from detaching from their old ways of being and growing and maturing themselves to really be someone who really is who they present themselves as being, but they're really not that type of person. They just wear a false mask to create an illusion that they harness high vibe Taurus energy. And they want to be in relationships with other people who are loving and emotionally balanced, who aren't also like fearful and insecure and petty and jealous and all those things like they are. And they're hoping they can hide the truth that they really are kind of fearful and insecure and maybe competitive and jealous and envious. But they don't want you to keep wanting like healing and growing and maturing yourself, because you're going to want them to do that and they don't want to do that. So then when they're in the relationship, they might try to stop you from loving and believing in yourself and dealing with any more of your shadow nature, of your fears and your insecurities and stuff like that. They want you to hold on to this relationship and not want it to have to grow or mature anymore. Like, let's get in the relationship. This is good. Let's stay here. And if you're a loving person who is motivated and inspired to shed some of your past pain and heartbreak, some of your self-limiting beliefs and stuff, they do things purposely to get you to focus more on them than on healing yourself. And so they can do things in a relationship like hold back from you, maybe be kind of intimidating or controlling, not opening up to you, so that you keep, it's kind of like, oh, look, this person needs help. I'm going to keep loving them. I'm going to keep trying to get them to overcome their fears and their insecurities and their self-limiting beliefs so that we can bring this dream into reality. And all what you don't realize is they never planned to bring the dream into reality. They like it just like this. This is good. I invested in someone who's maybe loving and warm and nurturing and all those good things and emotionally balanced, who isn't trying to manipulate me or control me or be prideful and egotistical with me, this is great. But I don't want you to keep growing and maturing yourself. I want you to stay right here because this is where I like to be. And I don't want to detach from any of my old ways of being and invest in dealing with my own fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs. It's kind of staying in a relationship that never grows and matures itself. Only within these restricted, limited boundaries. And that's what shadow energy is about, which is represented by the devil in tarot. It's oppressive, it's confining, it's limiting, it's restricting, it's imprisoning. I don't want you to grow and mature yourself. I don't want to grow and mature myself. This is good. Look how successful we look. Look, we got in a relationship. Look, we might have had children. It might look like we have this happy family and we're moving victoriously. Let's not change. Let's not harness high vibe Scorpio energy, where we're willing to explore the mysteries of life emotionally, where we shed some of our old ways of being to move on to the next level of relationship, where we deal with our next level of our fears and our insecurities that we need to shed. Let's not do any of that. Let's put an end to that. Let's stay in something that over time ends up being stagnant energy. There's nothing new to learn there. We've been there. We've done that. We've lived our life like that. Part of life is evolving and growing and maturing yourself within relationships and for the relationship to grow and mature itself. And some people don't want to do that because it would require that they let go of this idea that they have about relationships. If they are used to being in family dynamics, say, where the people that they're maybe used to being in relationships with never change, never grow and mature themselves, they keep doing the same old thing, life never changes. It's kind of, it becomes this superficial, shallow relationship. And some people are more than happy to stay in superficial, shallow relationships. That could be the foundation they're used to, that they cling to, and they don't, to let go of that would mean that they, in the death card, which is Scorpio energy, they would have to emotionally detach from this view of life and relationships that they have, which they could be used to being in. And they could be used to having grown up in families with people who are like, look how wonderful and successful everything is. But it is kind of a emotionally shallow, superficial way of being in relationship. And that could be their comfort zone, and they don't want to change that. They could have a lot of fears and insecurities. It could cause them, in the Five of Wands, it could cause them a lot of inner conflict about moving forward in life out of their comfort zone, having some hope and faith and belief in themselves that, it's like going to another level of love, and learning how to love people from a way or an expanded way upon how they've typically lived their life. And it could cause them a lot of inner conflict because they'd have to let go of that way of being. And that's how we become like, we grow and mature ourselves. This is the Four of Pentacles. That's like our more worldly nature, our more fearful, insecure, comfort zone nature. How do we become the Ten of Pentacles? We're supposed to become like the Ten of Pentacles, which is very stable and abundant and have learned a lot of lessons, but we still start the cycle over. The tens are the end, and we put work and effort to keep adding more and more and more. It's just like we don't say the exact same way that we were at 15 when we become 18, and we're not the same way probably at 20 that we were at 18, and we're not the same way at 25, and we're not the same way at 30, and we're somewhere along the way some people are like, no, this is it, this is my idea about relationships, this is like my dream relationship. And some people's dream relationship is to be, some people can be really defensive of being manipulated or fearful of love, fearful, again, depending on the type of people they grew up with, they could have a lot of fears about it. Again, some people invest in relationships and it is, they're not really invested authentically and vulnerably. It's more about creating an illusion for the world with other people. Because, it's really wild to think that some people, their like authentic nature never gets to come out and play in the world. That is locked away. Their ego and their fear and their whatever nature is like running their life. And their more authentic, vulnerable, loving nature never comes out to play in the world. And then it's, just to create this illusion that they aren't fearful and insecure and all this stuff in order to get people to be in a relationship with them. But they really are fearful and insecure and have a lot of growing up to do. You would look at a King of Pentacles, both the King of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles I see as Capricorn energy. In shadow, Capricorn energy is represented by the devil. It is letting our fear and our insecurity and our self-limiting beliefs run our life. I would view a King of Pentacles as someone who's like a Ten of Pentacles, and that is people who have put in a lot of work and effort to, the first step is the Five of Pentacles. I have to detach from some of my old ways of being. I have to face my fears and insecurities about having some hope and faith and belief in myself. I have to try to see my life from a higher perspective and work through my emotional confusion and my insecurities to believe that I do have the resources in the Magician card to kind of like invest in my foundation and my philosophy of life, and that I am capable of working together with people in a loving relationship. But that does take getting in the driver's seat of our own life, taking the reins of our dualistic nature, tempering our fears, our insecurities, our emotionally defensive nature with love and hope and faith and belief. And it starts within ourself, within our own foundation. Believing in ourselves, believing in love, aligning with love within ourselves so that we can detach from some old ways of being that, like who wants to perpetually be like an 18-year-old all their life? I don't, I think most people go through some of the changes, but then they get to a certain point in life and it's like, nope, I'm good. Nope, I'm not going to deal with anything anymore. Maybe I have money, maybe I have status, maybe I'm attractive. I'm sure I can get people to be in a relationship with me and I don't have to deal with any more issues. At what point did some people think they got to a stage in life where, no, I don't have to grow and mature myself anymore. I'm good. This is like my dream. I've reached the pinnacle. This is it. I'm good. Again, shadow energy can be people who are very materialistic, indulgent, and if it's all about money and materialism or indulging themselves in whatever way they like to indulge themselves in the world, no, they don't want to move forward in any other way. I'm good. I'm happy. This is my dream life. And some of you realize this isn't my dream life. I don't want to stay in a relationship with someone who doesn't think they have any lessons to learn in life, who could be kind of full of themselves in the Queen of Swords, that they don't have any growing and maturing to do, or people who think it's just and fair to be manipulative in relationships, to not really open up and be vulnerable and authentic with people in relationships. Well, that might be your dream relationship. I hope you find it. I'm moving on. And the high vibe people do love and believe in themselves, and they do listen to their intuition and align with their more loving, hopeful, believing nature, and they take bold, creative, inspired action to get out of their fears, their insecurities, their more worldly, competitive nature. There's more to life than keeping up with the Joneses. It's about being in deep, meaningful relationships. And some people, that's not what they're motivated and inspired by. Some of them don't even want to be in deep, meaningful relationships. Some people think life is all about being mentally strategic to look like you're successful in the world, or is to be mentally strategic to be in relationships with other people who don't love themselves or believe in their dreams, or who are prideful and competitive, so they'll be in a relationship with them and make them the center of their universe, you know? Some people are very prideful and egotistical and think everybody should want to be in a relationship with them, and then when people get in a relationship with them, that everyone else should put aside their pride and ego in a relationship, but not them. They're the most important person in a relationship, and that's their ideal relationship. Some people are very self-centered and egotistical, and you realize you didn't want to move forward with people like that anymore. You could have had illusions that they were someone aligned with being more bold and brave and confident and loving, and you realized it was just an illusion. You know, again, they'll stay in relationships and get in relationships because it does make them look maybe successful or victorious, or, you know, that they're moving forward in life in a successful manner. But they create illusions in relationships. They're not, it's kind of like mimicking who you are, but you truly are that way, and they're just presenting an illusion of trying to present themselves as being who you are so that you'll keep moving forward with them in a relationship. But I think eventually you listened to your intuition and you saw through the illusion. This person is wanting to be in a relationship with me because of ego or image or status or money, and it's not really based on love. And they were hoping you wouldn't love and believe in yourself and get out of your ego and listen to your intuition to be bold and brave enough to believe that you can manifest your dreams into reality. But you did. And you put an end to emotionally investing in those type of people. And you offered love to your own inner conflict in order to hold back from people like that. And you decided you weren't going to move forward with people who that's their dream and their illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. They're going to have to go find someone else. And you took the lesson you learned, you listened to your intuition, and you aligned with your high vibe Leo energy. The Six of Wands moves away from the Five of Wands, which can be our more shadowy Leo energy of being in our pride and ego, our more competitive energy, and willing to take bold, brave, creative action to get out of the Five of Wands, to believe in ourselves and believe in our dreams. You know, this type of situation, needless, can be very hurtful, disillusioning, confusing, and you could have even been in a relationship with some people where you could have been in a relationship, you could have been in a marriage, you could have created a family, but then because you didn't realize and see through the illusion, if they had an opportunity to move forward and get in a relationship with someone else who had more ego, more image, more status, more power, more money, whatever, willing to indulge them more in their pride or their ego or their self-centered nature, they could have ended a relationship with you and it caused you a lot of inner conflict, or they were doing these hurtful, unkind things that eventually it caused you so much inner conflict you had to move away from them. And the whole reason could be either because the way you live your life scares them because they don't want to live their life that way. They don't want to be bold and brave. They don't want to listen to their intuition. They don't want to be more authentic and open and loving in the world and vulnerable in the world. And if there was someone else who they thought they could get in a relationship with who's more on the same page as them, they wanted to be in a relationship with someone like that. But if they're very prideful and egotistical and self-centered and full of themselves and think they have this certain image to maintain, they didn't want to be the one to end the relationship, because they also could be narcissistic and they want to have this certain image and status, and they don't want people to know that they're kind of prideful or egotistical or selfish or greedy. So it was to do all these things to try to get you to leave the relationship, so then they can keep maintaining this illusion about who they are and go present themselves as loving people to someone else. Look at the money and the status and the image. You want to be in a relationship with me? Are you someone also who's kind of motivated and inspired by that? Great, let's get in a relationship and look really victorious by worldly standards. You're not going to make me grow and mature myself, right? You don't, right? Oh, okay, perfect. You're my like perfect partner. I was in a relationship with some people who listen to their intuition, and they don't make their life all about ego and image and money and materialism. They actually want to do love, and I don't want to do that. How about you? Oh, you don't want to do that either? Perfect. So, you find out you get in relationships with people and you're motivated and inspired by different things in the world. You got out of your ego about it, willing to admit, okay, God, they weren't who I thought they were. Okay. I'm going to move on. I will accept the fact and see the truth and not be in denial and illusion about it. And I'm going to have hope and faith and belief in my dreams. And I'm going to listen to my intuition to guide me. I'm going to put work and effort to work through my fears and insecurities and my illusions I had about someone, to love and believe in myself, to keep taking bold, brave, creative action, to believe I can manifest my dreams into reality. If they weren't the person who had the same dream as I do, then they weren't the person to begin with. I just needed to see through the illusion of it. And sometimes it can take a long time to see through the illusion, because sometimes some people wear a very good social mask for a really long time. And you want to be in relationships with other people who are aligned with a foundation of love. People who truly are harnessing high vibe Cancer energy. People who really are loving and warm and encouraging and supportive and who do walk the talk. Not people who just create the illusion of being that, but they're emotionally manipulative in relationships. As you're moving forward in your life, you could be, the whole thing is we can come across people in our life as we're moving forward. If you had illusions about someone who you thought you could move forward with, we listen to our intuition to guide us, because we want to make sure we get in relationships with people who really do see life from a higher perspective, who aren't operating more from their ego. And you're going to listen to your intuition as you move forward in life. There might be other people, you could be here or you will be there, and other people who might be getting out of their own relationships or something might come towards you, and you're going to have to listen to your intuition about them. Do they have illusions about you, that you're kind of more about ego and image, and they think if they come to get in a relationship with you, you'll want to be in a relationship with them because it'll make you look like you've had a victory, or that you've had a new beginning, or blah blah blah? If they've got money, they think that maybe you'll want to be in a relationship with them because of the money they have. It's like, I've already been there and I've done that. I want to be in a relationship with people who are loving. And if they're not people who've done that work within themselves to get out of their ego and see life from a higher perspective and our love, I think in the star card you'll be like, see ya. I don't want to repeat a pattern of the past. I want to be in a relationship with people who are moving forward in life, who believe in their dreams, not people who are hoping that somebody will get in a relationship with them out of their ego or their fear or their insecurity or their codependency. And if you had illusions about me wanting to be in a relationship with you because of my ego, then you don't really know me very well. So, there you go, Taurus energy. But there will be some people who are inspired by you, just like other people in the world could inspire you as you're moving forward. And there could be people who are inspired by you listening to their intuition, and they also are taking bold, brave, confident action to detach from people or things or ways of being in their life that previously kept them stuck and stagnant because they weren't taking that bold, brave, creative action to love and believe in themselves and believe in their dreams. And now you could be inspiring some of those people, and they have the same dream that you have, and they also want to be in relationships based on love. And those are the people you're going to work with moving forward. Those are the type of people you are going to be communicating with and taking action towards. And other people like that are going to be communicating with you. And you'll just listen to your intuition based on the lessons you've learned in life. Which of these people wear a false mask who are really kind of self centered or selfish or greedy or prideful or egotistical and not trying to emotionally manipulate me? And you're going to listen to your intuition about it. So there you go, Taurus energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.